In this video, I'll demonstrate my approach to trading using Renko bars and a level 2 DOM. I'll also show you how I refine my entries and exits and how I leverage a specific program to avoid market choppiness and to see trends a lot clearer.
Traderholics.com.
Hey, welcome to Traderholics. We're not gurus, we're traders just like you. We share what's worked for us and keep you updated on the latest in the trading world. Also, don't forget to come join our live streams weekdays. So, if that sounds good, hit subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss out, and let's get into the video. Okay, as usual, let's get straight into it. Now, this is my main screen, which I use what's called a Renko chart. Okay, and I have a program which I purchased called Thunderzilla from Renko. I'll give you that at the end of the video, where to purchase it from if you wanted to, etc., etc. But for now, what we'll do is we'll go through the chart and what you're seeing on my screen. So at the moment, you've got it's on NinjaTrader, because I use NinjaTrader to trade as my platform, because I love the ATM strategy section of it, which is advanced trade management. You can do trailing stops and automatic trailing stops and all that sort of thing. Let's just have a look at what's going on the chart first. Okay, so Renko charts. If you've never seen them before, this is what they look like. Totally different to other candles like Heikin-Ashi or just your normal time-based candles like a minute, 15-minute charts, etc. So you've got all different types of charts and candle formations that you can choose from. Now, this specific one is called Renko. And what it does, let me explain to you quickly. So it cleans up the chart. So you basically have, it can show you more of a trend. So it basically changes when it changes from one direction to another. Now, what I'll do before I get into it, I'll explain what the actual candles are and how they sort of get formed. So if I go to my right screen over here, okay, this is an explanation of the actual formation and how it actually gets formed, the candles. So you can see, let me just blow this up a touch more. Okay, so here's an explanation of it. So, brick size. This is the height in ticks from the Ninja Renko's artificial open to close. So you'll see here brick size. So you'll see it's basically the candle size, okay? So on my chart, I have a setting of what's called 12-4. 12 is the size in ticks of the candles, and 4 is the actual threshold between here to there. So you can see in this explanation, this is the distance from the previous bar's close in ticks that the current price must exceed for the current bar to close in the same direction as the previous bar. Right, so you can see there. So what happens is unless the price goes more than, in my case, because I've got a setting of 12 and 4, so my brick size is 12. So if the direction moves more than 12 ticks, then the trend direction will change. And it won't change if it's less than 12 ticks and then it keeps going up. So you might have on a minute chart, for argument's sake, you might see going up and down. But if it hasn't moved more than 12 ticks, this would still show a trend in the same direction. So as soon as the price has moved, in my case, again, because I've got a setting of 12-4, 4 ticks above the close of the previous candle, then it prints another one of these candles. So that way it shows you more of a continuous trend rather than up and down and so forth on candles. So it just cleans up the charts for trend-wise. So hopefully that explains what you're looking at. So let me switch back over to the main screen here. So yeah, so you can see here. Okay, now this is, I've got it on the MNQ. Normally I do the ES, and same with I've got a DOM over here as well, which I'll explain how I use. Now, if I scroll back and forth, you can see there's the chart there. So you can clearly see, like for example here, now this is really good. It's very simple to use. I'll just show you. Okay, so you can see where it's got these cells, cell, then you'll also see these triangles. Okay, you'll see one up there. You got your buys, then you got this line here, you got this line here. Okay, so when it changes trend color, you'll see the color change. So when the trend's starting to change, it'll show that, which was roughly about here where it started to change the trend. Now that line is 40 ticks away with the settings that I've done. It keeps that line 40 ticks away from the price. Okay, so you can use that as your runner. Okay, so if you're trailing this trade here, you would keep your trailing stop there. So that's where your stop loss would be. You would trail it as it went down. Okay, now what happens is, now see how it's given a sell signal here. So let me get rid of all these. So generally the first signal when it changes a trend like this, so it's gone from a buy trend to a sell trend. Generally the first signal is the most, probably when I say most accurate, probably the best one to follow. Anything after that isn't as trustworthy, so to speak. So generally when you get a trend change like this, a trend color change, and you get your first sell or buy, that's usually a pretty decent one to take. So you'll see here that it said sell and we've come all the way down there, okay? And it actually keeps going. It's given another sell signal, which is another strong indication. Now, you'll see these blue dots as well, or triangles, I should say. What that means is if there's a possible retrace, at least a retrace, if not a total possible reversal at that point. Okay, so if you see those triangles, it can mean a possible retrace or a possible reversal. Now, you'll also see these circles. See the circle there? That means momentum, that there's momentum in the move. So you'll see circles, diamonds, circle means there's momentum in that move. Okay, so now if I just get rid of this for a second, you can see when this gave the sell signal here, okay, now just to show you, might not look like a lot. If I go across to here, and even just to here for starters, okay, you know, that's what, 22.30, this will be about 22.44, something like that. So there's 14 points. Okay, there's a 14-point move right there. So it doesn't look like much on there, but it is. Okay, so if I was to just move that, scroll forward, you would see that this is still, look, the sell signal's still giving a sell signal there, but you can see what I mean, how this sell signal is not as powerful as the first one's on a trend, right? Because obviously the trend's been going for a while, so there's more chance of it, you know, exhausting and going the other way. So you can see here the diamond that said there was going to be a retrace, and there was a retrace. Okay, let's keep going. Now the trend's color didn't change, so we had a decent retrace. Still, if you had taken the trade there, and your stop would have been on that line. So just imagine. Okay, let me just do this. So you would have had this line as your stop loss, because you're using this as the stop loss. You would have taken the trade when it passed that candle. So you're taking the trade when you see a sell signal. When the price passes this candle on that sell signal, that's when you take the trade. So you can see that it's been going down, and even though we've had this retrace, came back to the entry, right? It would have just got your stop here. If you were trailing that stop, you would have just got your stop just there. Okay. Now if I just get rid of that for a second, so we keep going. Let's see what happens. Get rid of this so it works. Keep going, and you can see that it's kept going. So it's giving you another sell signal. So there's no reasons you can't follow the other sell signals, but just be aware. I found that generally the first one or two buy or sell signals are the strongest. Okay, now you can see here it's given a circle, which means there's momentum in the move. So there's a good chance we could keep going even further. More momentum. So, and that has kept going down and down and down and down. Okay, see here though, now we're starting to flatten out. Before we dive any further into the Renko charts, if you're finding this information helpful, please consider using our discount code TAH for your favourite prop firm. It helps you save money and it helps support the channel. Now, let's get back into it. Okay, so you can see when it starts to get choppy when you get peaks on either side of the trend. So you got a peak there, peak there, peak there, peak there. So that's telling you when you see this. So when you do see this sort of a area like this where the line's flattening out and you got these peaks either side, okay, that's just choppy. You just do not use it for that at all. Okay, you want to start to see the trend line either going down or a trend line going up, okay, without peaks on both sides. Okay, when it's like that, it's just going to be choppy noise and you're just going to get, you know, bounced out of the trade. Okay, so that's Thunderzilla for you. It's pretty good. So again, it gives, as you can see, it gives, let me just show you some buys quickly. Okay, so you can see here, this gave you a buy. Doesn't look like much, but that was enough for a scalp there. Not so great there. It was only a short trend change. Okay, same thing there. That was probably the loser in that case, depending on how tight you're scalping. But you can see here's an uptrend. Whoa, we're still going and going and going. So you can see here, so you've got momentum. It's telling you there's momentum in the move. You've got the trend line that's up. So that's when you want to sort of take it. Wait for the trend lines to go up and you get a signal. Because if it's flat and you get a signal, it could be just choppy, right? There's just about no indicator I've found that's good for choppy markets. Okay, every indicator and strategy and bot that you'll find, they don't really do well in choppy markets. So when you use this, you want to try and get it when you've got an uptrend or a downtrend in the line here. Okay, and when you get a buy or sell signal. So you can see a buy signal there, and you can see like this would have been 2030 up to 2040. There's 10 points right there. Okay, from if you had purchased it right there to there, you would have made already a 10-point move. Okay, it might not look like much, but it is. But it just cleans up the chart because it shows you the trend. So still going, right? And you're using this line as a stop loss. You can do. I've learned to, I've tightened that a bit. I trail it myself. I've got different trailing strategies in my ATM strategy here. But you can see all the buy signals, quite good. It's quite a good thing. So see here, we've had a trend change. Trend starting to move down. You get sell signals. Okay. Trend starting to go up. You get a buy signal. Now that was a move there. Call it 258 to 262. So there's still 4 points. 4-point move. Sell signal here. Trend starting to go down. You can see you would have made a ton of money. So this is, I just use this for extra confirmation. I don't just trade just off this. As if you've watched all my other videos and all my other screens that I use the whole combination together to give me confirmation of whether to take the trade or not. So I don't use just one chart or one screen to take my trades, but I do take my trades on this actual chart here. So you can see at the moment, compared to what I was showing you, this is all just choppy, okay? Trend's flat. We've got peaks either side. That's just choppy noise, so you wouldn't want to take any trades there. Okay, so hopefully that explains the Ninja Renko, the Thunderzilla system, which you can purchase from Ninja Renko, which I'll show you in a minute. Now, I'll just quickly show the DOM. Now, this is just the DOM from Tradervate with the level 2 data. Now, you'll see, now I use this also as confirmation. What I really use it for is like momentum, and sometimes it gives you some hints on where it might go. Now, I generally do the ES because you will see on the NQ here, you've got gaps, okay? There's not as much volume, okay? If I go to the ES for argument's sake, you see the difference in the volume on the ES? You can clearly see the difference, okay? So this can really move erratically. You could move 10, 14 ticks one way, 10, 14 ticks the other way quite easily because there's not a lot of volume there. See that? Okay, as opposed to, say, the ES. See all the volume, how many contracts on each level? So the NQ, in my opinion, it's great because you can get really, it moves on average, I've found with some statistics I've had on one of my other charts, at the moment it's moving about 4 times the distance of the ES. Okay, but the ES is worth 2.5 times more per tick. So keep that in mind. But the ES, because it's got more volume, is easier to read the DOM. Okay, now you can clearly see that from here. You can see how thin the volume is, which means it's a bit hard to read the DOM itself to know which way it's going to go because the volume's not there. So that's why I trade the ES, and I find that the ES is so much easier to read on the DOM. So a couple of little tricks for the DOM. If you watch it long enough, I believe if you watch anything long enough, you'll start to pick up things, patterns, things that happen all the time, and how to use it. So what I found that if I scroll up, I can't see one at the moment, but what you get is you'll get these spoofs. Now, a spoof trade is like someone puts a big amount of contract somewhere trying to hold the price or trying to push it up or push it down. Now, sometimes you'll see like on one of these levels, like say 300 contracts, and you see this, big line coming across here. Now, it actually ends up working the opposite way. You would think that would probably scare people and people trying to get in front of it to get their bets in to push the price up. But I found it's actually the other way around, that when you get someone that does a spoof like that, the price will actually head towards it because the market and the algorithms, etc., like to hunt for liquidity. So if someone puts a big spoof order in trying to push it up or down, it actually has the opposite effect. You'll find that the price actually hunts for it, okay? So if someone was supposed to put a big order here, okay, instead of having the desired effect of people thinking, I better jump in front of it because I won't get my order in and trying to push it up, it actually has the opposite effect. It must be the algorithms that see it and go, let's go take that liquidity. So when you see big orders like that, 200, 300, totally different to all the other contracts that are there, I wish I had some there to show you, it will actually go for it. The price will actually hunt for it, okay? And then you can sort of see as well if you watch it long enough. So if you just put this on all the time after, good month or two, you'll start to recognize the flow of it, okay? You'll start to recognize when there's momentum, okay? You'll start to see that it's always moving up a couple of ticks. Gradually, it's grinding. It's moving up a couple of ticks. Gradually, it's grinding, okay? And you've got to keep adjusting the chart, which also tells you the price ends up here. The price is generally grinding up. And you can just see that there's a momentum one way or the other, okay? Because you can see how quick it's moving. So you start to get a feel for it. There's nothing you can do, it's screen time watching that DOM. But that DOM I use a lot. I rely on it quite heavily with everything else that I use. But trust me when I say, you watch it long enough, you'll start to recognize when you can see momentum in the DOM, and you'll start to see those spoof orders I'm talking about. And a lot of the time it hunts for those. So that's how you that's why I use the DOM in conjunction. Okay. But again, with the ES, New York session is more volume. So in the New York session, you'd be okay to use, it'd be okay. The DOM there'll be a lot more volume in the DOM. This is the Asian session at the moment. So there's not a hell of a lot of volume. So I probably wouldn't trade like the NQ during the Asian session and even the London session, not with the DOM, because you get too many gaps. It's thin orders. Like, you got 5 contracts and 3 contracts and 2 contracts. Too erratic, okay? But New York session, yeah, there's enough volume in it to be able to predict the movement. But during the Asian session, London session, ES moves slower, but it's more predictable because you've got enough volume on the DOM to get an idea of what's going on. And you can see when you see a line like this on the DOM, that's the low so far of the day, and vice versa, the high. Okay, so it puts a mark there on the DOM telling you with the low and the high of the day. Okay, so yeah, if there was some smooth waters there, I could have showed you, but trust me when I say that happens. So now let's get to, I'll show you how to get it. If you wanted Thunderzilla, you would go to here, mob here called Ninjatrader. Now I think they're fantastic. Their support's absolutely awesome. They answer you straight away. Speak to the chat in the corner here, okay, and ask them for even a bigger discount. Right? If you don't know, you don't try. I did. I got the discount for it. For Thunderzilla, as you can see, they got a discount now from $2.5 to $17.50. But if you ask for an even further discount, there's a good chance you'll get it. Okay, and don't forget to put my code in at the end at checkout. Okay, so there's Thunderzilla there. You can see it explains it here. It's got the explanation of it here. You can read more. Okay, shows you how to use it, etc. Okay. So it just gives you some explanation of it all. It's also got a video as well, if I remember rightly. So there's the video there. If you want to watch the Thunderzilla video, explains how it works. Okay, so that's Thunderzilla there for you. All right. For the settings for the Thunderzilla, so you can see here Renko. Okay, it's 12 and 4 is my settings that I've got. But I can show you that when the time comes. When it comes to the settings, etc., I can, if you go here, okay, there's Thunderzilla there. Okay, I'll just do some. So there's the settings that I use. Okay, so you would go there. We'll go down to the hot pink there, so you can take screenshots if you need to. There's my settings for that. Take a screenshot there. Let's go to the gold there. There's the settings for that there. Take a screenshot. Let's go to the hot pink. Take a screenshot there. There's my settings for there. And take a screenshot there. And then take a screenshot there. So that's the settings that I use for Thunderzilla. Okay. Now, you've also got the Renko Kings that you've got to buy from Ninja Renko as well. So when you click on that link, if you type in, where do we go here? Go back to here and just type in King Renko. King Renko, here you go. What's the bottom one? It's a King Renko there. Okay. There's the actual bars that I had to purchase as well. So you see that that's $3.96. Again, use my coupon code. So you want to use the King Renko bars because they can be back tested, because Ninjaco has their own Renko bars, which is free. You can actually download it from this site for free, but you can't back test them because it does an artificial open and an artificial close. So they created these bars called King Renko, which can actually be back tested. So that's a difference. So there's the King Renko bars. Again, gives the explanations of what it is and how it works, which I showed you earlier. Okay, so you can also purchase that if you wanted to. So use King Renko with the Thunderzilla together, and you got the best indicator, sort of semi-automated program. Now you can actually automate the Thunderzilla. You'd be able to do it through say NinjaTrader, because they do have sort of automation there, but you can't use automation on prop firms anyway. And I prefer to use it manually because I can pick and choose whether to take the trades or not, whether I use it as confirmation. I don't just trade off Thunderzilla, as I've said. But that's how it works, and that's the settings for it right there. Okay, so you'll see the King Renko bars here. Okay, and if you scroll down there, you go all the Ninja. There's all the Ninja Renko products. Okay, so look, that's it pretty much. It's a really good system to help you with confirmation with everything else I use, and hope you got a lot out of that, and it'll help you be a better trader. All right, bye for now, and see you in the next video.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.